So one of the most confusing things about managing your Gmail account is that where are the folders and the rules? They seem to be not present until today. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so before we get started, it's very important that we understand the distinction between folders in Outlook and labels in Gmail. So folders in Outlook is kind of similar concept as how it is in Windows. It's a folder that you would use to, a container that you would use to put files and data in. So you drag emails, attachments, files into that one folder, and it's separated away from your inbox. In Gmail, you don't really have that option. What you have are labels, and labels kind of function the same way as tags do. They basically just tag the email with whatever category that you want to put in there. So the concept that we're trying to solve for in this tutorial is how do I get it to be removed from my inbox and into those labels. So that's what we're going to show. It's a little bit of a sleight of hand, but I'm going to show you how it works. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to get into it. Okay, so here's one of my project accounts that I use, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is I want to create a label for all of my Twitter communications. So there's a couple of ways that we can go about doing this. So the first thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to just type in Twitter in the search bar up here, and it's going to give me everything that has Twitter on it. So the problem with doing this way in this particular example is that any email that you have that has Twitter or their Twitter handles on there is essentially going to come up in your search. So instead of that, what I'm going to do is I am going to open up a Twitter, the Twitter domain here, and I am just going to actually just copy the domain at twitter.com here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this this button here that says show search options, and this is going to get us into the filter section. So what I'm telling it to do is that I want to search my inbox for everything that has at twitter.com in it, and then I want to go ahead and create a filter for this. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and kind of explain all of these things here. Skip the inbox. This is where the magic happens. So remember how I told you before that Gmail doesn't have the ability to put things, compartmentalize things into folders. So what we're going to end up doing is a little bit of a magic trick, right? Where any email that comes through, we're going to archive it, and then we're going to assign it a label. So we're going to click on apply the label, and I'm going to go on the drop down box. I'm going to create a new label, and I'm just going to put Twitter here. I'm going to click create. Okay, so essentially what it's going to do is that it is going to archive my email. It's still going to be searchable, but it's going to archive my email, and it's going to apply a Twitter thing here label to it. And then what also I'm going to do is I'm going to check on also apply filter to matching conversations. Now what this does, this is the equivalent to run now in Outlook. So essentially what this is going to do is that it's also going to anything that's already existing in my inbox with these criterias, it's also going to apply it. If you do not check, this is very important. If you do not check this option here, it's only going to filter for the future emails that come through. Okay, so once you have that, you can go ahead and create the filter. And before I do that, I'm just going to run through a couple of things here, other options that you have available. Marked as read, so essentially it just basically shows that it's been open. I don't recommend this option only because it's very difficult for you, especially if you have a large email box, it's very difficult for you to know what needs any type of attention if it's already been marked as read. Okay, star it is kind of the same thing as making it important. You can also forward the email to another address. You can delete it. You can mark it as that these types of emails never go to your spam folder. You can also mark it as important, which is kind of the same thing as starring it. You can mark it as never marked as important, which I don't know why you would do that. And then you can categorize this as well. Categorize is kind of Google's way of tagging things. You don't have the ability to make your own categories, so labels are kind of like your default. So, all right, so from here, we're going to go ahead and hit create filter. Okay. Now, if you have a large inbox like mine, it's going to take a few seconds for it to refresh. So I'm just going to hit the refresh button here. Okay, and there we go. And now you see everything says, everything that had that at Twitter had the Twitter tag on it. Everything that shows that it's not Twitter is just because they have the email on there. So what I'm going to do is on the left hand side, I'm going to click on Twitter. And this is going to show me this is everything that I originally had in my email, in my inbox. Now it's no longer in my inbox, it's in my archive folder. But what this is basically doing is that this label here is searching for everything in your inbox and archives with these tags. So that makes it a little bit more organized for you. Now, what if I want to change the color of this tag to make it a little bit more eye-popping? You could just go here on the right side of Twitter. You get the three little option buttons there, and you can actually change the color here. So I'm going to change it to blue because it's Twitter, and there you go. So now I have the ability to do that there. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what if I make a mistake and I don't select the right option, or what if I want to delete the filter? It's easy to be able to do that as well. The easiest way to do it is just click on the settings, the little toggle button there with the settings there, and then go to see all settings. Okay, and then go to filters and blocks, and this is going to be where you see your filter, or your filter that you put on there. So you can hit the edit button and hit continue. And you can make any changes that you want there, or you can go back and you can make some additional adjustments there. Or if you want to delete it, you do the same thing. Go to filters and blocks and just hit the delete button, and there you go. Now, I did state to you guys earlier that there are other ways for you to be able to achieve this, to do this labeling the filter. So I just want to make sure that I show you guys how to do that as well. So you don't actually have to go into the email in order to do that. I just find it easier to be able to capture the information. But if you already know what labels or filters that you want to create, all you simply have to do is just hit this show search option, and you'll get a blank filter screen where you can start doing it. So in this case, maybe I want to go ahead and filter out all of the Jennifer from collabs in my email address. I could just simply put in the domain there if I want to, and then create filter, and then again do the 3 checks to skip this inbox, apply the label, okay, and I'm going to put new label, and then I'm going to put in collab, hit create, okay, and again I'll also apply filters to matching conversations, and then hit create filter. Okay. And just give it a quick refresh, and you can see that they are out of my inbox there, and all of them went into the collab section over here. And I want to go ahead and change that color just to this little green thing here, and I'm just gonna hit the refresh button because I want to see if it's going to give me the color thing, but it doesn't look like it is. But it's out of my inbox into this screen here, and that's how you do it. So I hope you found this information useful for you. If you have any questions that I didn't cover on here, please let me know. I do have a tendency to put that in pen a comment with frequently asked questions, so that way you guys have that information there for you. If this is useful for you, please be sure that you drop a comment down in the section. Thank you so much. Y'all know the drill. Keep it real.